Hi, I am Kedger on Two Wheels, and today is the day for the V-Strom 1000. So, the bigger brother of all the others. The last one, the V-Strom 650, is actually this bike's little sister and not the 250's bigger brother. This is exactly the same as the 650, which was derived from this one, at least aesthetically. And I have to say, again, for the third time, finally Suzuki is making non-ugly bikes. I really like the colors of this one. It's unusual to see a yellow bike, and Suzuki pulled off a yellow bike that looks great. They glow yellow or high-vis yellow, and it just looks awesome. It looks big, fat, powerful. This area, unlike the 650, does not look empty, and it just looks great. I really dig the looks on this one. So again, front to back, you have the version for spoked wheels. There's a version without spoked wheels for 400 euros less. This bike is 13,000 euros or 13,400 with the spoked wheels, at least here. You have your dual disc brakes with ABS, with your inverted suspension, which is fully adjustable. You see the adjustable thing is here. Toxico brakes with dual discs, as I said. This ugly thing I hate. Let me just see the tire dimensions, which I will suppose are 110. They are 110, 150. Haven't looked at the rear, but it's 100%. I'm 100% sure it's going to be 150. Let's just... Okay, 150, exactly. So it's the same tire size as the 650, which makes sense, which is a bit of a in-road, off-road measurement. The tires, as you can see, aren't 100% roads. They are Bridgestone? Yeah, Bridgestone what? Hey, what's your brand, tires? I can only see the Bridgestone Battlewing. These look like mixed tires, but with that name I'm not 100% sure. You have your big fat V-twin delivering I don't know how many horsepower, but that should be on screen now. Rubberized foot pegs, pillioned foot pegs, which are removable. Not really sure why they would do this on these kinds of bikes. Why would you ever want to remove these, but whatever. You have your side case. Oh, sorry, this is the exhaust. Suzuki, seriously, just fix this. You can pass a bit of that to under the bike and make it look less like a side case. Seriously, this is gigantic. You have a top case rack already fitted, which is useful, so you can just fit your top case almost directly here. You have your supports for your side panniers, which is something many other bikes don't have, and you have to stick it to these two screws here or something weird. This is it's just like almost plug and play, so you can actually install this at home. Adjustable rear suspension. Let me see, how is it? So I'm going to soft. Okay, let's go for 1 click, 2 clicks for minimum, because I'm a heavy guy. Maybe 2 clicks is too little, but yeah, what the hell, let's put 3, which I really like these, so you can adjust the bike on the go. You got more cargo. You unclick it much better than what I have on the Tracer, what you have on more cheap bikes, where you have to stick it in there and just go with a little tool to do it, and it's always a mess. Rest of it is, well, as you would expect, once again, but this is normal for inverted suspension bikes. The mudguard protects your forks. Okay, so you've got stock normal filament indicators, normal filament headlamps. It is high time to get these 2 LEDs, Mr. Suzuki, please. But again, dual lamps for good lighting at night. And there's one detail which comes from the old one, which I love, which is this. Here's your windscreen. Oh, it's too tall. Now it's at minimum. This is a great system. I can just go onto the highway and go, this is too low, let's put it higher. And it's on the top position. It's that easy. You can do this on the road. And you see these little screws here? You can also adjust it higher or lower, like normal, and then have this extra movement here. Great system. And because this is simple to add and remove, you can actually put a big windscreen and keep this adjustable system. It's perfect. That's odd. It doesn't feel quite as tall as a 650, but it just might be me. Probably is. Just put the side stand down because I'm going to do the Portuguese walk around now. Mirrors are still the ugly things that are on the 650. This should also be changed, but then again, you guys can change it if you don't like it. And you have the same dash as the 650. Again with the power outlet, which is on over here instead of off to the side, not really sure why. With the same settings, with the same traction control, which I'm going to put at 1 for fun. Air temp, clock, speeds, and I can go change the low run, liters to 100 kilometers, average, an average of 6, that's awesome for a liter bike. Your range, your voltage, etc. above, trip, odometer. I'm not sure what these circles are, but I'm going to leave it at the little circles. And my preferred system of a analog rev counter and digital speedometer and gear indicator. Very complete, actually pretty easy to read, although it's not pretty, but it's very easy to read, which is the point of your instrument cluster, to be honest. Other than that, everything is where it's supposed to be. Oh, there's one little detail I loved in the Aprilia. This one also has high beams, low beams, high beams. Great system instead of the silliness that Honda Yamaha like, which is a stupid button up here, which doesn't really help when you're trying to drive. This is just high beams, low beams, high beams, low beams, push to pass. Great system. I hope more bikes copy this. Oh, cool. This one's adjustable and this one's also adjustable. Both levers are adjustable. Great Yamaha. Sorry, great Suzuki. And I'm not sure if these are stock, these handguards, which I do not believe they are stock because they are even another brand or not. No, they are probably stock. Great. Let's see how this rides. So let's do the exact same road as I did on the 650. Exact same roads, about the same speeds, and if at all possible, even better performance. I'm trying to hit all the bumps, but it's really hard to hit them. For one, the suspension doesn't allow me to actually feel the bumps, and the bike feels very tall. I'm not sure about precision, because I feel like I'm very far away from the ground, to be honest. And again, doesn't help that it's so big at the front that I'm actually looking forward instead of down. Let's go up this one, sitting down. This one's a bit harsher than the 650. Yeah, this one's not as good as a 650. Mostly, and I am pretty darn sure of it, because of the extra weight on the bike. This one felt a bit more harsh, but it is substantially heavier, so that makes making a suspension that is soft way harder. Okay, but it's not dramatic. It's just that, okay, it's not quite as good as a 650 under these conditions. It is a much larger bike though. Yeah, I can feel the bumps better. This is more what I was expecting when I rode the 650 and what I did not get when I rode the 650. I was expecting this performance and I did not get it, so I got way better. This is not bad though. Hang on, this is a very, very poor road, which this bike is handling marvelously. Okay, let's go through the worst I can. Let's turn around here because I don't want to go into the shooting range. That's what it says there. This is a shooting range, although they're shooting that way, not this way, but you never know. Okay, let's go. A bit of grass. It just eats terrain easily, and I am going through the worst potholes. The camera doesn't quite get the depth of them, but some of these are like this deep. I'm going through potholes this deep, seriously. It's the same as going up a sidewalk. It's ridiculous. Okay, and it is working great, really great. Hello, doggy. By the way, if a dog chases you on the bike, here's what you can do. Stop and say hi. Hello. Come here. Come here. And they get very confused, thinking, what do you know? So he just went away and went submissive, saying, okay, sorry, I was just playing. Okay, yeah, let's see how this goes on the test track and on something else. Oh, hello, Pooch. So, a bit of in-town semi-commuting. And although it doesn't quite feel as agile as any of the smaller ones, which is to be expected, doesn't feel extraordinarily heavy. I would say the BMW feels lighter than this one, but it's no big deal. It's normal for a liter bike. What I really like is, although the dash is looks a bit dated and well ugly in this new age of completely digital dashes, the KTMs are now starting to look like cell phones instead of dashes. This one does one thing brilliantly, which is readability. This is ridiculously easy to read. I just glance down and I immediately know my speed, because the designer that designed this was smart and encased the speedo on a little frame, so it's separated from this messy cluster with all the information you only look at once a trip, which is the clock, which when you look down you know where you are looking at, so you go and read the clock, you don't glance down at the clock. You have the air temperature, which is the same thing. You have the bar for your engine temp, which, well, it's useful to have, but as you know, you don't actually look at it during a trip, only every now and then when the bike starts feeling, or the fans turn on, the bike starts feeling weird. You got your fuel, which, okay, granted, that one I would really rather be slightly bigger so I don't get caught without fuel. And it just works. This dash works very, very well. It's very well designed, although it looks a bit, well, dated, but it is my preferred configuration. Other than that, and I'm just making some time here by going blah blah blah, let's try out the engine. If these guys would hurry up. Maybe full throttle on a liter bike in first gear is a bit of a bad idea, but let's try second. And this is an uphill, so it should be nice. 3, 2, 1, 60 kph, go. Holy crap! Oh, I had forgotten this was a liter bike. Look how fast I'm already going. Oh, hang on, it's... Ah, much better. This is a brilliant system, I love it. This is a violent engine. Oh, the brakes are very nice. It still dives down like the old one, but not quite as dramatically. And it still dives down because this is, I'm pretty sure, even though I haven't gone to the test track yet, a off-road suspension setup. Or at least semi, so it's not very roady, so it's not very stiff, so this happens. Look at that! You really have to hold on to your life for this one. It's a liter bike. Now, talking about the competition. Competition for this is somewhere in between the Africa Twin. Sorry, I was looking at traffic, making sure I wasn't going to get plastered. So, this is somewhere in between the Africa Twin and a Super Tenere. Maybe not the Super Tenere, what other, maybe the Versus 1000s? In that, this is that semi-road on-road off-road, which the Versus 1000 isn't. That's a road machine aspiring to be an off-road machine, which the Cross Tourer isn't, because that's also a road machine pretending to be an adventure machine. This is more like, in that territory, is more like the Africa Twin, which is actually an off-road machine pretending to be a road machine. This is that happy in-between. It's the in-between you all love to try and find and never quite get. I hope this is that. It feels like it has been done to be that happy middle ground. With the simplicity, or some of the simplicity of an Africa Twin, so there's not much to go wrong. Chain drive, manually adjustable suspension, etc. For comparison, the Super Tenere, which is a bit more heavy and more complex, brings to the table electronic adjustable suspension, full onboard computer when you can set up your suspension on how many passengers and luggage you have, and it will adjust itself. And you can adjust on the fly if you want it soft or harsh, which is great. This one doesn't have that. It's all manual, it's all very classical, very mechanical, very simple. Same philosophy as the Africa Twin, less stuff to break when you fall over. However, the engine comes more from a more violent streak than the very tame Africa Twin. The Africa Twin engine is clearly made for off-roading. You don't have that much power, you don't need it, you have a lot of torque, which is what you need and what you would want. It's a very it's a 1 liter engine with like 110 or 120 horsepower, but it feels like less because it's very tame. It's very good, okay, it's very good, but it's more off-roadish. This is a bit more of an roady terrain engine. It's more, let's go at 200 kph because that's what I want to do kind of engine. So that's why I say this feels like it's one of those in-betweens. It's tall like an off-road bike, but then it accelerates like a road bike. The cornering so far feels like a road bike, but we are going to check that out up ahead. The test track. I actually slid down the seat, but not on the seat, in my pants. My pants stayed put and the bike almost slid my pants off my butt. That was awesome. The seat just grabbed hold of my pants and inertia just slid me off them. Hang on, I have to readjust the cool. This is the first time a bike actually tries to disrobe me. Pretty darn cool. Actually, this one is in between the MT-09 Tracer and the Africa Twin. Okay, the engine has a bit of spice and the power of a liter engine that the Africa Twin, as I said, does not quite have. And it has the suspension setting or setup of an off-road machine like the Africa Twin does. So it's not quite as good as any of those, but saying it's not quite as good is a bit of a disservice. I'm just going to say it's not designed to be quite as extreme as any of those two. Oh, I like this corner. And on this one I'm also going to go up there, I hope. No, these mirrors are ugly, but they work. I have to say they actually work. Ooh, very smooth downshifts. There's something at work here on the downshifts, because this was, yeah, very smooth. It's a slidey clutch, I'm sure. Slidey clutch? I'm missing the name. Focus on the road, but what's the name? Slip clutch? Slippy clutch? Different slippy clutch? Oh, it's the Army. I actually got kicked out of here by these guys once. Yeah, it's a slippy clutch. So let's go up my road. I have to overtake. Oh, frack me. Okay, either I overtake all of these now, or it's a liter bike. Let's overtake like a madman. Like this. Let's go. Again. Stop trying to pull my pants out! Let's go see what you can do, baby. Ooh. Stable on the corners. Stable under acceleration. Divey when braking, like this. Diving, it dives under braking, and then this is too dangerous now. And then when the ABS fires, it releases the brake pressure, so it comes back up. So it goes a bit rocking horse if you brake very hard. Ah, but it's not that bad. Check it out. See? That's a bit unnerving, but it's not an issue. Because even though the bike feels like a rocking horse, it's not actually going anywhere. The wheels are firmly planted on the ground. And full throttle, you arrive at the next corner way faster than you were expecting, like this. But still, the power delivery is V-Strom, is very smooth. It's not harsh like the MT-09, which, while exciting, can be tiresome. Very smooth. Actually, the whole bike is very smooth. Whoa, now the rear went a bit haywire. Let's try braking. Oh, braking while slightly leaned over makes the rear go a bit wobbly. It would be odd if it didn't, to be honest, but then it stops being that stable. It's normal. It's a tall bike with the soft suspension for off-road, so this is perfectly normal, and it acquits itself on those bends, as you saw, fine. I don't lean over a bike that much if I don't feel comfortable on it, and on this one I feel perfectly comfortable. Really, seriously perfectly comfortable to do what you just saw. Because when I'm not comfortable and I'm not a pro rider, a pro rider can lean over even a full knobby tire there because it knows it'll grip, it'll just adjust itself, etc. I don't, because I'm not a pro rider. So when I manage to do what I just did, that means the bike is very easy, which is the whole point. A hard bike makes it tiresome. I like you. I like you quite a lot. So, see this unpaved road or previously paved road? We are going to do off-roads. Yes, with no hands. I hope Suzuki doesn't silently murder me in the night for doing this. They usually hate and say you cannot go off-roading with this. In my defense, this isn't off-road, this is an unpaved road. Maybe. I'm going sitting down now just to see the suspension. Okay, cool. These are big ruts, like 10-15 centimeters deep, with a hard-packed dirt road and sand on top. So this makes it very slippery and very harsh in terms of bumps. And as you can see, this one takes this easily with no issues. Let's try traction control. Just like the 650, same traction control. It just prevents all or nearly all sliding in setting number 1. It just goes brrr. If I turn it off, it's off. Check out the difference. In second gear, I have to be straight to do this. Let me give me just a few seconds. Here, check this out. That was a lot of slides everywhere, so that can be fun. If you're into this can be fun. Let me just stop. I'm in the rut, which is not a very smart thing to do. I stopped in the worst possible place. Traction control 1, let's see this standing up. Let me just, okay, we are up. This standing up position is way better than the 650. The handlebar doesn't feel low like the 650. Feels okay. Could be even higher if you're going to do this all day long. Again, it's that in between that this bike aspires to and manages to do. And like this, I'm not 100% comfortable because I'm a bit hunched over, but it just works fine. It works fine for that temporary let's get up and go over this slightly harsher terrain. Not that it needs to be standing up on this kind of terrain, okay? I can stretch out if I want, not just have my tippy fingers on the handlebars, which is not very recommended, but you can do this if you want to stretch out on the bike. Okie dokie. Again, I'm not a very experienced off-roader, so take this with a grain of salt, but it works. The foot pegs are comfy for this. These rubberized foot pegs are comfy for this, but the ones I tried on the BMW 1200 GS Rally are better. Then again, this is again a happy in-between to make it do both things. Oh, it corners very well if you put your weight on the pegs. I didn't actually get to try that because I did a tiny little bit of off-road. Sorry, my bad. As I said, I'm not very experienced. I almost fell over. Okay, I ungripped with the handlebar and it just veered because I did something I shouldn't. But just, where was I? I did just a little bit of off-road. Hey, this is cool. I can rest my hand here while riding. This just looks ridiculous, but it feels great actually. This is actually this is a pretty comfy position to be in, like this. I can ride like this. Awesome. I look like an idiot, but this is great. This is awesome. Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. The happy in-between bike. It feels a lot like the 650, or the 650 feels a lot like this, or rather, let's go like the other way around. The 650 feels like this one with less power and a bit less weight. It's basically it. It can do road easily, and if you put some proper road tires, it'll be even better. Although these tires are pretty darn good, but it'll be even better with proper road tires. If you don't like it diving, you can adjust the suspension to prevent that, so that's fixable. Oh, it dives too much. Cool, let's go into compression settings and make it stiffer. That way it won't dive as much. That simple. So you can easily adjust this on the go. Not on the move, but at least on the go. And you can do a big trip and know that if you see a nice off-road, you can just go there. Like for example, I could just go that way if I wanted. Why not? You know? Whoops, please don't crash into me, Mr. Megan. Okay, thank you. I'm indicating. Kids still learning how to drive for sure. Okie dokie. I actually was tempted on just going that way, but I might have already overdid it on the off-road, so I'm not going to push it. I am really not going to push it. So yeah, let's skip to the end, the other side. Let's showcase the engine. Engine showcase number 1. It's awesome. Although, when you do reach these very high speeds, you start to note that you're reaching the limit on the bike. Then you notice that it's an off-road machine. Not as early as the Africa Twin, where you feel that limit when you're doing these bends, these highway bends. You start to feeling things going not 100% at say 150 kph. On this one at 180, you start feeling that you're reaching the limit on the bike. It'll do it, but you can feel that it's not quite, doesn't quite feel as connected to the ground as you'd be happy with. Okay, you start getting the feeling that this is not quite as stable as I would like. This at 180, which is not bad considering that your maximum speed should be 120, and this is not exactly a speedy bike. But it's better than the Africa Twin at these speeds. So, I'm back here to deliver and to get my own bike. Who will buy this bike? Well, the person who's going to buy this bike is going to be a fan of the Three Bears story. He's the guy that rides the MT-09 Tracer and goes, this is too harsh. Goes on to the Africa Twin and goes, this is too off-roady. And goes into this and says, this is just perfect. That's the point. It's the in-between a tracer and an Africa Twin. That happy medium between on-road and off-road, between all-out power and off-road capabilities. It's this one. A liter bike doesn't quite feel as heavy as a big liter bike, which is one of the advantages of the Africa Twin, which feels like a smaller bike. But it's still a big 1 liter adventure bike with all the comfort and all the goodness of it, and with all the off-road capabilities that this one can bring, which is quite a lot more than your usual masquerading as an adventure bike is. This is an actual adventure bike. And so yeah, that's it. The V-Strom 1000. Good, you're out. Nice sounds.